Bejo Trustees, Formula 0.5. No, I'm kidding. Formula Libres, Class S, C, and V out onto the circuit. And a good mix of drivers out there. DJ Boyson makes his way out. Cohen Bam, the first I've heard of the name. But as I'm hearing from Francois Butler, multiple karting champion. So stepping up into the, what is the parent class, I suppose you could call it, the next step up from kart. Then you've got Hayden Elwood and Damian White, the two lone C, or say the two standing C class cars, and then Richard Carr, Diederik Heisamen, James Beaumont, Joshua Smith, Donovan Ramsey, and Luan van Eeren in the V class. That will definitely put in some good action. We're missing out the likes of Kelly Fletcher, Ricky Anderson, Nick van der Westhuizen. Obviously Dexter Bruce was out there the last 2 rounds ago. He's not racing today, unfortunately, but still a nice field of drivers. No Cyril Somerville. It was his birthday the other day, so happy birthday, or belated birthday, to Cyril Somerville. But good to see Joshua Smith back out after his nasty crash in turn number 3 last time around. I'm not sure they got that car sorted 100%, so I think he's in another car. But still, that youngster's always got some serious pace, so we'll see what he can do as they make their way towards the grid to get into format. And then we'll be underway for 10 racing laps in just a moment. Here we go, all of the people out of the way, all the open wheelers started. The starter board, 5 seconds out of the way, the lights are on, Francois. The lights are out and away they go. Some wheel spins, some good launching. And down towards Blockcoin they go, and look at Hayden Elwood trying to beat the 2 Class S cars, a puff of smoke as he jumps on the brakes, a little bit of a lockup from the front 3. And out of Blockcoin they go to start this very first lap of the Bejo Trustees Formula Libres.
Well, at the moment, DJ Boyson up into Castrol, followed there by Hayden. Hayden Elwood gets passed there by Cohen Bam. Bam up to second in the RDSA car now as they work their way around. And Hayden Elwood there, Damian White a little bit back there. And it looks like Richard Carr got through. Josh Smith in that 15 car works his way down towards Dempsey. He'll want to work his way up through the field. He's in a borrowed car, so he might not be that comfortable as the drivers work their way now up the Tigerberg Straight into Sorrel Sweep, with your leader coming in there. That's DJ Boyson working his way down the Kalani straightaway.
Yeah, they make their way through Sorrel Sweep, as you're saying, down the Kalani Straight. And look at the gap already DJ Boyson has put on Cohen Bam in that Storm Lanfear car. Storm obviously hasn't driven for quite some time, so lending the keys over to another one of the carters. And through into Pertamina Foster they go. There is Hayden Elwood that has Richard Carr, and that is Damian White. Good to see Damian White back out on the circuit. They run on down to complete their first lap. Then we see the rest of the field. There comes Aysam, and there's Bowman, there's Smith, there's Ramsey, and there's Luan van Eeren. as they all come down towards turn number 1.
Right, going to Castrol corner is your leader there now. That's DJ Boyson. Cohen Bam trying to close that gap down. Cohen looking very comfortable in that car. Then we've got Hayden Elwood, Damien White, Richard Carr. They make their way now into Castrol corner. You see there on screen as they come in there. And then it's going to be the likes of Josh Smith, followed by James Beaumont and Udrich Haysalmon. Haysalmon up there behind them, and up behind Haysalmon, it's Donovan Ramsey. That's pretty much your field there as they work their way now down towards Landstem King through Damps now up the Tigerberg straight away. The leaders already making their way down towards Perdamina Fostron. It looks like there's a car off. That could be, looks like Cohen Bam. We might have mechanical issues. Cohen Bam because I lost the touch there with the leader. So Cohen Bam picking up a problem.
And I think there was a little bit of contact with that inside wall, maybe just touching the outside of Dam's Dip and spinning it around. So I think he'll roll that car back to the pits. But there is the rest of the field. There is Smith. There's Beaumont. There's Haysalmon. And as far as I can see. And then now...
Damien White's got an issue.
Yeah, we heard the car splattering across the line, and there you see on the inside of the circuit, he just needs to steer clear. The rest of the field needs to go around. He's almost cutting his nose, his hands out the air. So the guys in front should be able to see that he can't roll any further. He needs to try and get across the track and into what would be the service area or the off-track area on the inside of the circuit. And I think he's just going to pull it onto the grass if he doesn't get that car stuck in the center of the track. And I think he does pull it onto the grasses. There you see Cohen Bam makes his way through. It doesn't look like there's actually any damage on that 27 car. And then, of course, my mistake, Leon Verdien isn't out on circuit.
Right, so watch there now on your screen there as they go through Damps. We have a dual purpose here, track and screen side commentary. The drivers going through Damps now. The leaders making their way down into Perdamina Fostron. Your leader going out of turn 1 already. That's DJ Boyson. But we watch the rest of the field come down the back straight down into Perdamina Fostron as they work their way through there. And Smith having a little bit of a tussle there with the likes of James Beaumont. And there's Udrich Haysalmon. He's up behind James Beaumont.
Yep, there's some nose-to-tail battling there in Class V as it's Haysalmon and Donovan Ramsey that run down the main straight. Then Cohen Bam will make his way by. Obviously, in the quicker of the 3 cars, he'll just very cleanly make his way by. But once again, there is a yellow flag for Damien White on the inside of the circuit. We'll see where he's parked. There he is pulled onto the grass and he's got it out of the car. So that is safe enough out of the way. Very unfortunate to have Damien White out of this race as the rest of the field peels on through. There we saw Donovan Ramsey and either Haysalmon come on by. There, Cohen Bam makes his way between the two, and now he'll try and carry on up the field. The leader goes down into turn number 1, block coin corner once again as we see the midfield come through Sorrel sweep and make their way down at the Kalani Straight.
Right, so still it's DJ Boyson leading out over Hayden Elwood, Richard Carr in third, Josh Smith up to P4. Great drive there from him. Beaumont 5, Udrich Haysalmon 6, Cohen Bam still down in 7, trying to work his way through the field. However, I do feel that car might have a bit of an issue. He doesn't look very trustworthy of that car at the moment, so we'll have to see what he can do. We've still got 5.5 laps to go.
And I've been telling a lie. It's James Beaumont and Udrich Haysalmon that are fighting in your frame there. Donovan Ramsey is the one just behind. There you'll see, I believe that's Cohen Bam that's made his way up there into frame. There is Beaumont, there is Haysalmon, and then coming across the line now in the back of the frame, that is Donovan Ramsey, 8 seconds off the 2 ahead. There we see Joshua Smith and Richard Carr just ahead. There's Joshua Smith in that borrowed, I believe that's the ERA Racing Team's car. They'll make their way out through the Landstem Kink and down into Dam's Dip now as Cohen Bam tries to make his way by.
Right, so still DJ Boyson leading out. He's the quickest man on circuit. Hayden Elwood holding on to second. Richard Carr. Josh Smith has got Cohen Bandam up behind him. If Cohen goes past, Smith will drop down from 4 to 5. But Smith will be still lying second in the V class, which is not too shabby coming out of him in a borrowed car. Doing exceptionally well there. Cohen Bandam not taking any chances. I think he doesn't want to damage that car. So he's out there now and still plodding along merrily.
Yep, I think where Joshua Smith wants to be now, I think he was 3 seconds off Richard Carr on the last lap. I think he wants to just try and get a little bit of a toe from Richard Bam, from Cohen Bam to try and catch Richard Carr if he can, because then that'll be a fight for the lead. But there you see Hayden Elwood, second place overall, first in Class C, and driving a mighty fine race so far. Even if it is on his lonesome. There you see Cohen Bam making his way up the grid once again after his spin there by turn 3. And then, of course, there is Richard Carr and Josh Smith. And then this fight once again between Beaumont and Haysalman.
Well, we were hoping that the likes of Cohen Bam will be able to stick it out with DJ Boyson, but DJ Boyson is absolutely miles ahead of Elwood at the moment. Bam up to third. Will he catch Elwood? We'll have to wait and see. We've got 3.5 laps still in the bag to go. And coming here through the Sorrel sweep, that is, looks like Josh Smith. As going down now towards Pertamina Foster on his Cohen Bam. He's ahead of Josh. Or should I say Richard Carr, and then Josh Smith. So not too shabby out there. Cohen Bam coming back in there. Now I think he's got a chance of catching Hayden Elwood as he comes out of Pertamina Foster on Elwood under the bridge. And there comes Cohen Bam now out of Pertamina Foster on there on the screen.
Yep, as you say, 4 laps to go as they run on down. There you see Hayden Elwood made his way through frame. There is Cohen Bam once again. Cohen Bam can now make his way back up into second spot where he was in the early laps of this race. There's Richard Carr. There's Joshua Smith in that ERA Racing Team's number 15 entry. Then there's Beaumont and Haysalman once again. And they have a very fast, very fiery DJ Boyson making his way through the back markers now. So they might put a little bit a nail in the coffin for those two. If he can get by smoothly and not mess up their race, he'll just have to find a spot, maybe one of the straights. He can back off now. He has no competition. His competition's almost a lap behind him. As they run now towards Damsdip, he'll get by 1. Can he get by 2? And he does. He'll go through the outside, now the inside of Damsdip, and take those 2 positions from Beaumont and Haysalman and put both of them a lap down.
Well, coming up there into Sorrel Sweep, we have some of the drivers coming through. And a bit of a scuffle out there as they work their way. It's Udrich Haysalman and Beaumont having a bit of a tussle. They work their way down. And going down into turn number 1 is the leaders. There's a good scuffle there. There comes, well, have a look at that. It's going to be Cohen Bam who's going past Hayden Elwood. So Cohen Bam goes back to second.
Yep, now officially second as he overtakes Hayden Elwood for that second spot on the podium after a very, very good comeback from almost down to the back of the grid. Hayden Elwood will now be dropped down into third spot with a lap and a half left to go. Almost a lap when the leader makes his way around now, way ahead of the rest of the field. But there you see Cohen Bam just needs to claw back a little bit of time, so he's not too far behind DJ Boyson. But of course, there is always a race number 2 to make up for whatever happened in race number 1. Is still James Beaumont and Udrich Haysalman fighting it out, going down towards Damsdip. There's Damien Whitecross still on the inside, as it was in the early stages. There is Beaumont and Haysalman as they run down through Damsdip.
Right, so there we go. There's Udrich Haysalman having it out with James Beaumont up into the Sorrel Sweep. They're going over. The leaders are across the line already, so we're on our final lap, so to speak. And in your screen there is on screen there we're waiting into turn number 1. Your leader will be coming into picture pretty shortly. A couple of the back markers. Josh Smith coming up under the Castrol Bridge. He works his way down. Down it's still Haysalmon and Beaumont having a scuffle. There they come down into Block Coin Corner. And Udrich Haysalmon trying to find a way around Beaumont, but Beaumont keeping the door closed properly there.
Here they go on. This is the final lap, of course. There we jump to the leader. DJ Boyson has 2 more corners to go as he makes his way through Sarl Sweep. Down towards turn number 5.
Right, so working the way around and still DJ Boyson. Here comes up over the line as Cohen Bam now, who's made up a bit of a time. And Hayden Elwood still in third in that 7-up. He still sits there in P3. And having a look down there, here comes your leader to cross the line. Flag time there for DJ Boyson.
Yep, just like that, a dominant race number 1 victory. We'll see what the gap is when Cohen Bam comes across the line in just under a lap from now. But there's still this Beaumont and Haysalmon battle coming to the line. This will be for 6th and 7th spot. And the drag race down to the line isn't a drag race enough side by side. And it will be James Beaumont in the 8 ahead of Udrich Haysalmon in the 44. Richard Carr just beat out Joshua Smith to the line. Their difference was 5 seconds. And now we just wait for Cohen Bam, Hayden Elwood, and Donovan Ramsey at the tail end of the field.
Right, so Cohen Bam down into Bidimina fast run. His first taste here of main circuit racing, as far as my knowledge will extend. But Cohen Bam doing well, coming home in P2, bringing that RDSA 1600 up over the line.
1 minute and 3 seconds was the gap. 1 minute and 4 seconds rather between Boyson and Bam, as Hayden Elwood now crosses the line after getting overtaken by Cohen Bam about 2 laps ago. There's a 10-second difference between himself and Hayden Elwood. And then, of course, Donovan Ramsey, the final car on circuit, coming across the line to take 8th position in the Bejo Trustees Formula Libres race number 1.